Hello everybody, welcome to another day of Cosmoteer. I know it's been a little bit of time. I have been very busy working crazy 13, 14-hour days and I just haven't had time to do anything else. But here we are, and what we're going to be looking at is passive cooling, something that a lot of us, or at least even me, didn't know too much about. But you can see that these lasers are overclocked. We don't have any of these engines overclocked, but the lasers are overclocked. And you can see with just frames on it, you can use it to be able to cool down your overclocked weapons. So this right here is an overclocked starter ship created by Plunder Jeff. And I already spent a little bit of time to look at it and modify it a little bit just to see if I can make it a little bit better in some way or what improvements I would do to it. But you can see right here it has overclocked lasers on it. And the way that it works is when you have these little frames and these little extra edges that are not attached to the actual structure of, I think it works that way. If it's not attached to the actual structure of the ship, you can see that it's overclocked. And it's pretty neat how overclocking can work. Now this all based off of another person, and they went back and forth and collaborated on this. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this person's name right. Nazukiu. This is probably a really cool one. I put out a challenge for all of us, and I think I'm actually going to take this challenge because it sounds really cool. The challenge is to start the game with this ship, and in career run or a ship of similar form, no reactor, just a singular capacitor right here, and to build up your ship and not allowed to use any credits. So start the game with this and try to. Okay, there's one problem with this ship, Nazukiu, is I don't see an airlock on this ship. So without an airlock, you're not even going to be able to start the game with this ship. So the first thing we at least need to do is the ship does need an airlock. Yeah, this ship needs an airlock. Without an airlock, this ship will not. You can't even play it in the game because no one can leave the ship. So that's probably important. I'm actually interested to see if this can even beat anything in the. I would, if it would have to be something similar to this, I would already probably modify it just a tiny bit in some form or fashion because he's using point defenses as. Anyways, I would put an airlock somewhere, at least there, right? You need an airlock minimum, and then maybe some storage capacity. Like, there's only just one crew. Can you only start with just a 2 crew member ship? I don't know all the rules. You need to probably give us a little bit more rules whenever you watch this on exactly how this goes. But I would do that, and then point defense, just 2 point defenses. I have no idea if that would work. Save this ship. Do 1.1. I'm very interested in this type of challenge. I like things that are ridiculously hard. And this definitely checks that box. Alright. Build a ship. Combat. Let's go from cost low. And can you beat a 4 crew ship? Can this even win for a 4 crew ship? Something similar. So as you can see right here, passive cooling. Everything on here is overclocked. The engines are overclocked. The point defenses are overclocked. Can this even beat this? You need a little bit more point defenses on this to work. Or at least more defenses or something. Hold on, maybe if we self-control this, let's give this one more good shake before we start ripping it completely apart and redesigning it. Okay, so test what? Wrong folder. Test 1. Come over here. For those that are just joining, the challenge that somebody gave in our Discord channel, and I really want to take this challenge up, is to start the game in career mode with something like this, or similar. I'm just making sure it can even beat a starter ship like this. And can you do this? Oh wait, I'm not playing as all players. And why won't you target properly? Can you not target? Okay, so you can't target with just point defenses, which is sad. I can do this ship, but I can only rotate. So that's another downfall of just having point defenses is I can't. Point defenses, not target? Can I not say? Yeah, it's not letting me. Not letting me at all. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's restart the battle. Let's rip this one off. Let's redo this. I want to see, is it possible with full passive cooling? Yeah, I can't target. See? Right clicking, right clicking. You cannot target. Kind of sad. But what's kind of neat is if I could take on a beginner ship like this, and you can see everything's overclocked on here. And in theory, you should be able to start in career mode with just this. I'm very interested to see if it's possible. Because if I could beat this ship with this ship, we're gonna open up the game and we're gonna attempt this. It's possible. Wait, why are these? That's part of the problem. There we go. Now we have a little bit more offensive power. Let's just make sure these things don't catch on fire. Okay, so this is catching on fire, so that's bad. So this is not enough passive cooling for that point defense. So he needs to, this needs to change it. It already needs to change Nazuki. This needs to change. Where's some more pieces? I need some more pieces for passive cooling. Something like that. That looks awful, but let's just shift everything up a tiny bit. And how would he do that? How would he complete this design to make it look right? I don't know. And you have more space to add something like this. And something, maybe something, some more passive cooling. There you go. And then add some more passive cooling on this. Oh, it's not fit there. Okay. So now that that's repaired and everything, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a heat test. I want to see this thing burn. So you can see overclocked point defenses are going to keep regenerating, they keep doing their things, and I just want to make sure they don't catch on fire. And if they don't catch on fire, let's start an actual game with this and see if it's possible to go to the very beginnings of it with just passive cooling. As you can see, I added a little airlock to it. We don't even have a storage system on it. I made a tiny change to it just so it didn't overheat. Let's save the ship design. Let's come over here and let's start the game with the ship. Quit to menu. We're gonna do a new game, new career. We're not gonna play that on Grand Admiral. We are going to attempt to load in this ship and start the new game. Is it possible? That's all we're trying to. Oh wait, I didn't want to do that. Turn this off. Turn this off. Turn it off. Do that. Okay, and resave that ship. Okay, kill the space station. We are not allowed to buy any materials from the space station is one of the challenges, and you can only build. So let's just see if we can do this really quick. We're just gonna go to this one right here, and we're gonna see if it's possible to play the game like this. We're not gonna do a whole first starter, but I just want to see, can you even do this? Will this even work? This is a great question that I don't have an answer to. Can I target? Please target. Oh, I think that's at the game accident. I'm afraid the disruptors might... This is very thin armor, but it might do it. I'm purposely strafing like this. So we took out one disruptor. That's pretty good. You know what? I might have to strafe the other way. I'm trying to strafe this way on purpose so that we can heat up this. So you can see everything on this ship is overclocked. This is overheating. That caught fire. That's bad. We're gonna lose the cockpit right there. Did we already lose the cockpit? What else caught fire? Yeah, we lost power to the cockpit, and then we lost... Okay, so is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Here, let's restart this over time. New game. No, career. Load in this ship. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? Probably not. Let's do this one more time. Okay. I think it's lacking just a tiny bit of armor in the front. Alright. Accept all those quests. Come over here. Fly to this closest one. Speed the game up really quick. Fully overclocked. All. Preheat. There is no heat, anything else here. Everything's overclocked on this. Wouldn't it be nice to have is overclock lasers? Or something besides just 4-point defenses? Maybe if he had like 2 more 6-point defenses might do a little bit better. And if I could actually target, this is part of my biggest problem is I cannot target anything with my point defenses. So in theory, what's going to happen here is now I'm not going to do a strafing method. And in theory, we should be able to take out this cannon. If I could target, then I would target this. See, I'm right-clicking it. It's not letting me. So it's a cool, interesting design that Nazuki gave, but you can see even on just normal difficulty, I would have to do strange tactics. So, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's change this ship. So, this starter ship, which is really neat and all, the first thing that I can already see is this is not enough armor. So, that would make a big difference. And then we should layer stack it like this. So that would make a difference as well. And then these point defenses literally has no power, no anything else. You need 2 more. But I don't know if it's gonna go past the cost here. You need 2 more. Okay, let's just do this. Let's select this section. Those are learning to build. And we're going to copy it. Then we're going to paste this on the outside skirt somewhere like this. And then we're going to rip off this extra armor because we don't need it. And we're going to somehow attach this to here. I like this idea of all this passive cooling, no? And then this is going to... I think we need a 3rd section. Rip off this armor right here. Rip off this armor right here, and then we will go. This is a little much. Maybe not. Who knows? Alright. 3rd. I like the idea. I guess it has to be a tour piece. Tour piece. Corner piece. Okay. Does that make the cost way too much? We're gonna find out here in a second. Alright. Go back to quit to menu. Do a new game. Career. Load in. Ah! It works. Okay. Now that we have 6 point defense. Oh wait. That's a horrible idea. I need to redesign that. That's dumb. That was a dumb idea. I need to redo it. Right? I just blocked. I'm pretty sure I blocked it. I need to relook at both of them. I'm blocking the point defense's range of where it can shoot. Okay, so. Oh, he did put it like that. I don't like that. I don't like. Okay, we rip off that. Now they're just sitting there like that. He's got these. That makes better sense to me. Undo. And then this like that, and then if you wanted to add it a tiny bit more armor. No, that's not gonna work. Okay. There we go. Version 1.4. Alright. One more craziness on this. So those are just joining. What we're doing here is we're accepting a challenge created by someone on our channel. Stu Nazuki built this ship and said to play the game like this. I just want to see if you can even beat the very first ship like this. Build this big station. Accept all these quests. Do this. Alright. Is it possible? Closest one is this one. Go super fast. Fully overclocked ship. You can see right here there are no reactors on it. It's all overclocked thrusters, all overclocked point defenses. And how come I loaded 1.3? Alright, fine. I didn't load 1.4 on accident. Let's see if 1.3 can even do this. We're gonna find out here.
I'll keep this here for now.
What are you keeping, my son?
This?
I don't want that in my room. Okay, are they all set to offense? Okay, I see some right here. You see how these are blocking? So those are not firing. So that's not good. So if I halt H twice and just select the target, will they all fire? So you see this is not firing, that one's not firing. So where I really only have 4 offensive point defenses with this particular version, which is why I wanted to go to 1.4. Alright, redo that. 1.4. Where's my 1.4? Here it is. 1.4? Why is it like that? Okay, 1.4. Build this ship. Start new game. Accept. Is this possible to do? This is a pretty crazy challenge. Alright, times 4. Oh, I wish I could actually accept. Okay, so now that we have the 6 point defenses on it, I know it's times 2 speed. That should be able to do it. And then you get pieces, and then you can build from here, and then that should work. Okay, so for those that are looking, and I know this is passive cooling, this is all passive cooling for overclock weapons. And then what you do here is you build like other overclock things with passive cooling on it. And you can start the game with this with 6-point defenses. You could probably do it with 4 once you rip off the armor there, and the extra point defenses target certain things. But you can see right here, you needed a little bit. Yeah, I guess you didn't need a little bit extra armor. But now we can rip this apart, and now you can come over here and you can repair the ship. And then right here, this is catching fire. And this one caught fire. So this is not enough cooling for the amount that it has. But it's pretty neat. Pretty neat that you could start the game like this. And there's another one right there, H twice. Literally, this is only a 2-crew ship. There's no reactor on it. And it's just all passive cooling. There is no other heat exhaust. What I also wanted to test as well, and I don't know if it's possible, but you see all the frames is the passive cooling on it. Can you put, and I'm going to test this here too, I'm going to test this theory. It's just I thought about it and I never actually did it. But what I want to test is, can you put batteries, thermal batteries, and connect thermal batteries with it and surround it by frames, and will the thermal battery cool down if you have the frames around it? Does anybody know the answer to that? Has anybody tried that? Because you can see right here, everything's cooling down except for this one caught fire because it's just didn't have enough passive cooling around it. Did I lose energy? Okay, so I lost. You can't do 2 battles right back to back without improving it, and you can see it lost that one. But what I want to do here now is we're going to go back. That was just the theory testing. Is it even possible? Load in 2.14 again. But now we're going to just do some changes. What I want to test here is, can you do heat pipe like this? And can you add a thermal battery like this? And then surround the thermal battery with frames. And will it cool down? Does that work? Has anybody tested that? Does this even work? Let's find out. Fire. I don't think the thermal batteries reduce any heat when surrounded by frames. So, turn these off now. We got some heat in it. And now let's try to surround this with some kind of... You would assume that the thermal battery should also be able to reduce heat too with frames, right? Or is that just me? Just my assumption. It's producing all that heat. What about these heat structure pipes with frames around them? Will that... Or is there no way to exhaust heat at all? Okay, so that doesn't work. What about this other theory? The other theory that I had, and I don't know if this works or not, is you add heat pipe structures and you allow the heat pipe structures to come out like this, and then we rip off all this. Don't need any of that. And then over here, we build this crazy structure like this. And we copy it. And you paste this structure here. And then we rip off that. If you do something silly like this, does that work? Okay, accident. Does this work? The answer is no. That doesn't work either. So the theory was to make the heat come over here and the heat gets dispersed over here, but since it doesn't have anything, you can see right here they went kaboom. So none of that works. So if you're trying to build passive heat, the frames must be attached and next to and close to whatever you're trying to cause to not burn up. So Those are just some tests that I was thinking. I have no idea, and we're testing it out to see if it works. The really cool thing is you can see right here, Plunder Jeff built this starter ship. This is an overclocked starter ship that you can start with in the game that does actually effectively work. This is a cool passive cooling overclocked thermal ship that you can play with. This other one that this other guy built is next level, kind of weird, hard. I wouldn't start the game with this unless you wanted a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, but I like to play that way. That's how you learn and you build and you get all these new different ideas. So you can see right here, this is overclocked starter ship you can play with. You can see there's overclocked mining lasers, not mining lasers, regular lasers on it. And surprisingly, this point defense ship actually ripped off both lasers. Okay, so this version works. The other version didn't work because I was blocking where the point defenses can aim at. It actually is beating this overclocked starter ship that had 2 overclocked lasers. You just need a little bit more armor right here. A little bit more starter armor right here. And you can probably beat most of the first starting ships. Yeah, I would do something like this. It needs just a tiny bit more armor. Just a tad. It needs that much armor. That's probably enough armor. Let's save this as 1.5. That is just... I am highly intrigued with this ship. This is a ship that... you can play it on normal mode, that's for sure. See, this ship will now almost probably always win versus this ship. And this is a pretty good starter ship that Plunder Jeff built if you wanted overclock lasers. Huh? And there you go. So if you wanted to play this challenge, I would say this is a good starter ship to go with. And you could totally do the challenge without ever building from the space station. And you could just recruit your crew members. It just needed an airlock because it was missing airlock. But they're all overclocked point defenses, you can see, all passive cooling. And none of them are burning up. And all the thrusters are overclocked as well. If only you could target. So I would hope the developer or somebody that's on the development team or part of the building looks at this and makes it so that point defenses, you can target things, because I cannot target anything, which is very sad. But since I'm using them as offensive weapons, that was pretty neat. Can this beat other in-game ships? I'm wondering. Let's take an IO. Let's take an IO one of these. This is an overclocked ship versus another overclocked ship. That's overclocked laser, but it has armor, so it's not the same as the other ship. But now we have, and it's flying super fast backwards. We don't have enough speed to catch up. Well, if you were to play this game and you fight that faction and it was a very starter ship, you can see we just don't have enough forward thrust because we're a little too heavy. Now, what should happen is after it ripped off enough armor, we should be able to catch up. The answer is no, we still can't catch up. So a kiter like that would totally beat you. Let's not do that one. Let's come over here to the fringe. Let's check out fringe ones here real quick. That one would be too easy to beat. Let's go to this one. Alright, so it's got a cannon. It's got 2 point defenses. Could you beat something like this? I'm pretty sure you can, with the amount of point defenses that are on this. Speed this up to ×2. It's kind of interesting. Why is it spinning? Okay, it doesn't have thrusters, that's why. Well, it's a good test to see if the things overheat. Is anything catching fire? You see, none of the point defenses caught fire. None of the thrusters caught fire. And after a very, very long battle, just at times 8 speed here, you eventually win. And this is actually higher than the very first. It's probably at least a level 2 ship. What did happen was this one caught fire. This one caught fire. Okay, so they all caught fire. So there's not enough heat for a prolonged engagement. There's not enough heat dispersion. So we probably need to change that a tiny bit so that it actually becomes effective. So you can see right here we burned up that, and or they took damage. But these two are on fire. So for a prolonged engagement, this is not enough heat to stop passive heat cooling. Pretty cool though. All right, now that we've done passive cooling, we're going to go into a completely different thing. So what's his name? Obaid Danish and Ho Shell provided, if you're even still here, I know a lot of people have come and gone now, but what we have, we're just going to do this one because I really, really like it. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Here. All right. So somebody took my ship, my all-purpose ship, and we're going to showcase this one right here. My all-purpose ship, this name's in the wrong way. The red one, they took this ship and they converted and changed it. See, there's 100 crew, this is 112 crew, and they converted it to... Wait a second, there's something wrong with this ship. Where's my version? They converted it to this. And then we've been collaborating back and forth, and I made a couple tiny bit of changes to it today, and then I sent it back to them. And you can see it's got a ton of shields, it's got a lot of things on it. But it's really cool, I think, because it can do things that you wouldn't expect an all laser ship like this to be able to do, even with only just 4 mining lasers and then a whole bunch of other things on it with layer stacking of shields, and then a ton of point defenses. One of the things that I see that's missing on there is the edits that I made, which I changed some of these things to 2 crew. So now I need to go figure out what happened to it here real quick. Test. Oh, it's because I had it wrong. It's 1.39. There you go, 1.39. So you can see instead of 112 crew, I ripped off 6 crew members, so it's only 106. We changed out to these to just double bunker ones, which is better. And we changed out some more operators and other things. And a few other edits we made to it as well, just to make it so that it's... And then Obaid Danish also made changes to it. Hoshel also collaborated on it, so we've been back and forth on this. And it's a really neat ship, because it's just layer stacks of shields, as you can see. It's a full energy-based ship. It's got tons of point defenses to take on things. Now, the whole point was to be able to take on, I know the cost is going to be significantly higher, but if you take on 2 of these ships and you face it versus a Polaris, I'm going to show you the test that I gave to Obaid Danish so that they understood how to improve your ships. So how do you improve your ships is one of the biggest questions a lot of people ask. So this is the final version, or the version that we're coming with edits. So we'll probably make even more edits to it. But the first challenge that I did, and I'll take the original and show you, is the original version. If you took this ship and you face it versus two of these super shield ships, and you face it versus a Polaris, and I told Obaid Danish, make this ship walk away from the Polaris where both ships take 0 damage out of 5 to 10 battles. That's how you can learn to optimize the ship. And you can see right here, it took a little bit of damage here, and it took a little bit of damage in different places. So it still is taking damage, but before, if you take the original, it actually would take even more heavy damage, or you could even lose one of these ships. So the best thing to do is, if you're trying to work to optimize your ships and working on it the most, is you take your original ship, and here's the original right here, and you'll see that the original ship You can see we're missing shields here. We're missing a point defense facing forward. We're missing some other optimizations that will help. You'll see right here, with this many amount of point defenses, what happens is sometimes, and it doesn't happen all the time, sometimes these ships walk away with no damage, but that's why you do 5 out of 10 battles, is the missiles will hit in a certain angle and rip off armor and rip off other things. So you can see right here, it's actually doing very well. And maybe it won't even do it on the live stream. But what you do is, that's why you do multiple battles, and you'll notice that in some of them we'll do ×2 speed, so you can maybe see it. Is what's going to happen is they're never going to take damage because I'm doing it on a live stream. What's supposed to happen is sometimes it rips through the side for the missiles, and one of the ships gets destroyed, or another ship gets destroyed. And so there was just not enough defenses on the sides for whatever. We'll restart and swap and see if we can do ×4 speed and see if it does it. Okay, right here. So you see it lost some damage, it lost some right here, point defenses, and then what it would do is it would even rip through further, and then they would lose the ship in full. And where you can see right here, all these are catching fire. So another problem that I had with it too is you can see these didn't have any way, once you ripped out the point defenses and then the pipes, then these don't have any access anymore. And so the change we made on the other versions is these are no longer like this, they're more dispersed and changed out, so that if you lost some of the pipes, you're not going to catch fires on the outside. So there's just a bunch of different things that are made. It's not doing it on the live stream as much as I want, but you can see it took heavy damage. Sometimes it takes even more damage and it rips through, catches fires and other things. So to fix your sides, face it against a ship, 2 of them versus a bigger ship or some kind of ship, and then see if what it can do. Now you can see the other problem they had too is you see the inside the fires. So I made a change too where the pipe attaches to the fire extinguisher, and here I'll show you the actual more improved version, where a pipe attaches to a fire extinguisher, and then you have an overclocked fire extinguisher. So this is 1.39, so you have overclocked fire extinguishers, which will fix your fire problems on the inside, fixing the shields, fixing the dispersion that you had right here, where if you lose a bunch of pipes, a lot of just minor tiny fixes and little tiny optimizations, collaborating back and forth to make changes to your ship. And you can see such a better now ship that you can play in the game, replacing it and doing so much better. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out a ton, helps to push out this content to other people, bring awareness to it. If you like, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, especially what you don't like, so that I can improve, make better content. If you have not already, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. Come back once a week, once a month. Check out what content I have. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. And you all have a wonderful rest of your day.